Hey guys, what's up? My name is T-Space, and welcome back to another episode of Off the Tee, where you, the viewers, ask me a question relative to Battlefield 3 or off the topic of Battlefield 3. Today's episode is going to be starting off by a guy named Heiner Gunnar, and his question is left or right tit. Now, which I think it's medically speaking, one of the tits is slightly bigger than the other one. So whichever one it is, I will probably pick that one. But on a more serious note, his real question is, what kind of music do I listen to? The music that I listen to is kind of broad. I wouldn't say I listen to just one specific genre of music. I'm pretty open to most musics, whether that just be instrumental or actually having some lyrics tacked onto it. I shouldn't say tacked onto it, that's kind of mean. Anyhow, the only things that I don't listen to are either raps that pretty much rap the obvious, which is stupid. Sometimes, okay, let me clarify that. If it's a rap that's supposed to be serious, but he raps about obvious things, then that is fucking stupid. Now, if it's a rap about stupid things and you know it's stupid, then that is amazing. Hopefully that makes sense. And I also hate, I guess, songs that repeat themselves, meaning they just repeat the chorus 4 times. Those songs are stupid. I don't understand why people like them. I think they're stupid. But anyhow, I can, you know, my range can go from all the way to classical all the way down to dubstep. I mean, I don't know. I guess that's a pretty big range, right? Even I don't even mind country. Why? I don't know why everyone like hates country so much. I don't think it's that bad. It's just, I don't know. Anyhow, hopefully that answers your question. Let us move on to the next question. The next question comes from Ostrich Boy. And he says, my question is, what is your favorite TV show at the moment? And what are your thoughts on The Walking Dead? Now, I would say ever since I got my own computer, the internet has pretty much killed TV for me. I mean, most of the stuff that you would want to watch on TV, you can actually stream online, which is amazing. There's a bunch of streaming sites. I mean, there are, you know, the hidden ones that, you know, might have more exclusive titles that the bigger companies might not have yet. Like, I don't know, let's say Hulu or Netflix or something like that. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys have done this before. You just search for streaming websites just to watch a movie or download a movie or download a show or something like that. I know you guys have done it. You can't lie to me. But anyhow, I mean, that's how I've been ever since I got my my personal computer. But given that I have my personal computer, I don't actually watch TV shows. To tell you the truth, I'm actually leaning over towards some, I guess you could say, anime. Before, when I was younger, I actually hated anime because all my friends watched it and I just didn't understand it. To tell you the truth, my friend told me that I should check out this site called YouTube. I thought it was just another anime site and I didn't want to go there. So that's what I personally thought of YouTube at the time. This was back in like, what was it, 2005 or 2006 when YouTube actually started up. But anyhow, so I've been watching, you know, just animes in general, mainly because, in my opinion, the TV shows with, you know, real actors and stuff like that are kind of limited on the fact of them being real. I don't know if that makes sense, but let me give you an example for an anime. In an anime, you can pretty much create any superhero you want to and actually make it look believable. In a real life action film or, you know, TV show, you know it's CGI, if that makes sense. Like, it's kind of, I don't know, it kind of contradicts one another. Like, it's not realistic that these people can do that because they're real people. But in anime, since they're cartoons, they can do whatever the fuck they want. So that's what I like. I mean, I recently watched a show that one of my friends recommended to me back in freshman year or something like that. No, I don't even think it was out there. Anyhow, it was just a while ago. And it's called High School of the Dead. Now, High School of the Dead is basically a zombie apocalypse outbreak kind of scenario. There's only 12 episodes. Apparently, there's going to be a season 2 coming out next fall, which is going to be awesome. Hopefully, everything goes to plan, and then, you know, they release it. But anyhow, this series is pretty good. Now, keep in mind that if you guys are underage or whatever, or you're still living at home with your parents, keep in mind this show is very, I think they called it Ichi, if I pronounce it right. I don't know if I pronounced it right. Anyhow, basically that means it's like borderline pornography in a way. I mean, you get tits. I don't know if that's pornography, but you get tits in that show, and it's very centric around the whole, I guess, puberty age of most males. So keep that in mind. If you do decide to watch this show, make sure your parents aren't in the room, because then there's going to be some awkward moments and you don't want to have that talk with your parents. But now moving on to a second question, my thoughts on The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead, I have to say I watched the first 2 seasons and I absolutely loved it. Actually, I watched the first season and I absolutely loved it. The second season, halfway through it, I started to get bored as hell. I don't know what it was, but actually I do know what it was. I thought that the show was going a little too slowly. It was, I mean, okay, hopefully you guys have seen it, and if so, I'm going to say spoilers right now, just given that it might ruin something for you. But anyhow, in season 2, they're like they're in a prison. Or I think this is season 2. This might be season 1. I have no idea. Anyhow, in the show, they find a prison and they make it their home base. And I think maybe 3 or 4 episodes after that, it's just in that spot. And I hated that. I wanted them to keep moving. Like, it felt like filler, and I didn't like filler shows because it doesn't progress the plot, if that makes sense. Like, I really kind of wish that The Walking Dead was kind of what The Last of Us did. Now, I don't know if you guys have watched The Last of Us, but it's a PlayStation 3 only game, or exclusive, and I have to say that game, watching that game was amazing. Now, I'm not going to spoil it for those of you who have watched it or who haven't watched it, and if you haven't watched it, I recommend you find someone out there on YouTube to either showcase a playthrough or go ahead and buy it yourself, because that game, the storyline is, I don't know, I thought the storyline was awesome. It was progressively moving forward. There was no downtime. There was no like, okay, let's sit up here for a little bit and, just wait. I mean, if that was the case, they cut it out and you didn't know about it, because that's just how they did it. I really wish that The Walking Dead kind of did what The Last of Us did, but it didn't really seem like that. So I kind of fell out. I just didn't want to watch it anymore. I felt it was going too slow. People weren't dying enough. There was not enough conflict. It was kind of boring. That's my personal opinion. I haven't watched any of the seasons after that, just given that the fact that I was not confident that it would actually pick up again. I felt that it would be kind of boring or very slow to start out with. But I don't know. I could be wrong. I mean, maybe if you guys suggest watching The Walking Dead again, maybe like, oh, it picks up here, then I might decide to pick it up again. But who knows? All right, hopefully that answers your question. The next question comes from Vinamar8. I think I pronounced that right. I don't even know how to pronounce your name. I probably just have to Google it or something. But anyhow, his question is, what's up, dog? Hey, what's up, brah? All right, cool. Moving on to the next question. Next question comes from Montel. And his question is, I have multiple questions. What is your opinion on weed? Do you think it should stay illegal or be legalized? And if you saw someone smoking it, what would your reaction be towards them? And have you ever smoked it yourself? Why or why not? So my opinion on weed, I don't know, I don't really care too much to the point where I think weed is a bad thing. I guess it's, there are medical studies that say weed, helps out in certain areas and stuff like that, like truly helps out. But I mean, I don't see a bad thing about weed. I mean, weed is, I don't know, I kind of want to classify weed as tobacco, given that tobacco is a plant, right? Shit, let me Google that really quick. I'm pretty sure it is a plant. But anyhow, I mean, it doesn't seem, as bad as, I don't know, the other hardcore drugs out there, like crack, or like crack, or crack. I mean, come on. I just don't understand why they're making such a big deal about this weed ordeal. I mean, to tell you the truth, if I saw someone smoking weed, I wouldn't care less. I mean, good for you. You do you, man. I mean, it doesn't affect me. I mean, the only thing that affects me is probably the smell. I mean, I personally do not like the smell. And with that, I don't smoke weed. I just don't see the reason to it. I don't really need a pick-me-up. I don't really need a high. Because I just don't feel like it's important to me. I mean, but given that there are people out there that do this, I mean, I'm not saying that you're bad people. I'm not saying that you're I guess, insufficient or you can't handle your own stress. I'm just saying that it's just not something that I want to do. I mean, might be something that you guys might not want to do. Maybe you just don't want to chop off your hand. I mean, there's some people out there I'm pretty sure will chop off their hand just because they want to chop off their hand. But yeah, I mean, I personally think that it should be legalized, just given that it won't be a huge bothersome and people would actually focus on more important things, more important topics that would actually change the country in a good. Well, of course, I'm talking about America. I mean, I don't know if weed is illegal everywhere else, but at least in America, most states it's illegal. So yeah, I mean, I kind of hope that it is legalized, but there's just so much paperwork to do that I can only begin to imagine. Because, I mean, I would imagine when they make it legalized, they would actually tax it. So then, you know, they get revenue from it. But then there are probably other twists and turns that we might not know about. And overall, it just becomes a whirlwind of shit that, you know, no one really wants to stick their hand into. So hopefully that answers your question. All right, let's move on to the next question. Next question comes from Das Chicken. That's that name. Okay. His question is, if you can go through the history of games and pick 2 FPSs to merge, making, in your eyes, the best FPS ever, which 2 would they be? Okay, so when I read this question the first time, I thought it was one of those high-end questions that I can truly put my brain to work and basically, you know, make me think about it for, I would say, 3 to 4 days. I'd say that's a good amount of time to think about a question. But man, I have to say, I came to the conclusion of having Star Wars Battlefront and Counter-Strike. I don't know how the fuck you would combine those 2 together, but if you could, that would be awesome. I mean, when I was a kid, I loved Star Wars Battlefront. It was the game to play, in my opinion. It was so much fun. When I got it the first time, I didn't even know I had it. I came home from school and my parents were like, "Oh, just turn on your PS2, Eric." I'm like, "Okay." So I turned it on and bam, it was Battlefront. And I was like, "Shit!" Well, I didn't say shit because I was too young to say that. But in my mind, I was like, "Shit!" And then I started playing it. And it was the most amazing experience ever. It was so much fun. The reason why is because I didn't have to pay for online plays, or I didn't have to pay for multiplayer. I could play by myself with a bunch of bots and feel fucking awesome. Like being top of the scoreboard every single game, that just boosts your ego like nobody's business. I mean, that game was so much fun. I cannot wait for DICE to bring out Battlefront 3. That is, I have to say, if Battlefront 3 came out before Battlefield 4, I would totally forget about Battlefront or Battlefield 4. Sorry, but I would have to go the Battlefront way. It's just, oh god, it's so nostalgic. It's so, okay. So that's what I would do. Mainly, if I had to pick the reasons why I would pick these 2, I'd probably pick Star Wars because it's fucking Star Wars. And Counter-Strike because of the whole tactical aspect. In Counter-Strike, you can't really, I wouldn't say run and gun. I mean, there are certain areas where people seem like they're running and gunning, which is very weird. But most of the time, you can't really run and gun. It's more or less playing it a lot slower and actually putting your teammate, or putting your enemies, I should say, in positions where it makes the shot easiest for you. I mean, I don't know if you know this or not, but most Counter-Strike players actually put their enemies in the easiest of shots to the point where they don't have to make the difficult shots. They try to position themselves to the point where the enemy is more out of position than they are, and they have the full advantage, so they don't even have to try as hard as they might want to. If that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense to me, but anyhow. So those are my 2 picks. Hopefully you like that answer. Alright, let's move on to the last and final question. The last and final question comes from JS Dart, and his question is, Commander and BF4, yay or nay, and why? So, I think I touched on this topic before, talking about how I hope Battlefield 4 is going to be, and with Commander mode, that is. I hope Commander mode doesn't count as the swing vote. Basically, I don't want the commander vote, or the commander mode to be so overpowered that if your commander sucks ass, then you're just gonna instantly lose the game. I do not want that to happen. I want the commanders to be, I think in my eyes, I think the commander should be the most supportive role on the team. Like, they can't do anything else but support. Now, of course, you know, support can be either, I don't even know if they're actually gonna have drops where, you know, and I think it was in Battlefield 2 where you can drop ammo packs or supply packs or whatever they're called, or drop vehicles here and there. I mean, I don't even know if they're going to have that ability, but I mean, if they don't, then I just hope they have super supportive skills where they don't have all the powerful gadgets. Because I mean, most of you guys, I'm pretty sure most of you guys have seen the live stream of Battlefield 4 at E3. back in June. And they showcased, commander mode. The commander mode had, rockets, and they had UAVs and stuff like that. But that's pretty much, I think that was pretty much all it showed. Or that's what people kind of focused on, or at least that's what I focused on, was the Tomahawk missile, or whatever you want to call it, and the UAVs. Now, I just hope that I just hope they don't make it so that those rockets are, I don't know, instantaneous, and you could just rain down rockets on, all the enemy vehicles, and then your opponents or your team, whichever one, has the more vehicles, will just instantly win the game. I mean, I just don't want it to be around or focused around that too much. I want the commander modes to be more of a support class than an actual powerhouse. Because if they're not, then I'm going to have to say commander mode right now would be the suppression of Battlefield 4. I mean, that's the best way I can explain it. So hopefully that will answer your question. I think I went on a tangent in that one, but anyhow, I looped back around. Hopefully you got the answer that you wanted. But anyhow, that pretty much wraps up today's episode of Off the Tee. Now, if you want to send in your own questions, go ahead and send it to me in a private message titled Off the Tee. This just makes it a hell of a lot easier for me to find and locate them and, organize them myself. If you put any questions in the comments below, please make sure they're not, off the tee related. If they're just kind of simple one-worded answers, or, one-sentence answers or whatever, then go ahead and leave them in the comments if you really wanted to. But mainly, if you want to have an off the tee question that you want to be featured in the next episode, just go ahead and send me a private message titled Off the Tee. Now, before I go, my last episode of The One and Only didn't actually get any votes. I don't know what happened. Maybe you guys forgot, or maybe you guys don't want to see this episode or this the series anymore. But anyhow, given that no one voted on that one, you can also leave your setups in this video and then vote up your favorite setup. Now, for those of you who don't know what Off the Tee is basically a series where I do whatever you guys want me to do. You pick me, or you pick the loadout for me, you pick specific cripples that I have, or basically things that I cannot do in game, like let's say I can't run and I only have to walk throughout the entire game, or something like that. Like, people have been very creative in the past. But anyhow, if you guys want to vote on that, you can leave your setups in this video and then also upvote the ones that you would like to see. But anyhow, I think I've taken up most of your time for the day, given that it was a 17 minute video. Yeah, so I'm just going to end it right here, but I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay in the background. I was playing 3 different games. I think it was a Rush and then 2 TDMs. But anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. But my name is T-Space, and I will catch you guys later.